Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 14th and final episode of Miniset Miracles, a series where I've made minisets for every Hearthstone expansion that doesn't have one. We've finally reached the last expansion that didn't have a miniset, Scholomance Academy. Today's episode will be a little different from the normal episodes. Normally I'm the one who makes all the cards for the video, but not this time. For the finale of Miniset Miracles, I've decided to involve the entire community, so I asked you guys to submit cards for the video. And I never expected that so many of you would participate, so this will be the biggest episode of Miniset Miracles to date. A few of your cards used the same artworks or had a couple mistakes in the text, so if your card looks a little different, that's why. Welcome to your miniset for Scholomance Academy, which I've named Graduation Day. You guys have made many of the cards that would be in this miniset, like the legendary Grave Archivist Arthal for Death Knight by Myriad D.
I thank you for coming, but you really all must die now.
This is a 5-mana 3/5 undead dragon with Reborn and both a Battlecry Death Rattle and Spellburst effect that will spend 3 corpses to draw a card. Everyone of course knows what Spellburst is because it recently returned to standard in the Great Dark Beyond. But Scholomance was the original expansion that introduced Spellburst, so you guys made a lot of cards featuring Spellburst. Like Kel'Thuzad's Disciple by Shatterstar 1998, Eater of Names by Noob King 1, Mount Riding Trainer by Regnar 427, and Clumsy Apprentice by Amaranth. You may also notice that all these cards are dual class cards. Dual class cards were introduced in the Scholomance Academy main set, so of course they would also return in the mini set using the same combinations. Speaking of dual class cards, there's also this dual class legendary created by Shrek, Associate Professor Yogg for Shaman and Mage.
He will learn!
Yogg is a 10-mana 6/6 legendary minion with a start of game effect that will give all other minions in your deck Spellburst cast a random spell. Yogg also has a Spellburst of his own, where he will repeat all other Spellburst effects you triggered this game. I had to change this card slightly to fit the effect in 4 lines, which is why it looks a little weird. I really like this card, but I feel that maybe it's a little too strong, but I was very inspired by it, so I also made this alternate version. I originally intended for this set to have 38 cards like other mini sets, with 1 card for each class and 2 cards for each dual class combination. But it very quickly became clear that this was gonna be impossible if I wanted to show cards from everyone. So instead there's no limit to how many cards each class will get, like all these cards that interact with the Soul Fragments mechanic from the main set for Warlock and Demon Hunter. Ambitious Scholar by May, Soul Shard Sapper by Hidden Torby, Soul Harvest by GG, and Soulful Studies and Student Repeater by Shire. Speaking of the Soul Fragments, May really went above and beyond and had the great idea to expand the Soul Fragments mechanic to Death Knight with all these cards. I'm a big fan of giving Soul Fragments to Death Knight, so that might be something I also explore in a future video. May also submitted this very flavorful addition to the set, Professor Thalnos.
My endless agony shall be yours as well!
Thalnos is a 2-mana 1/1 undead for Death Knight with rainbow runes, and he has an endless spell burst that will give him spell damage +1 each time. And then when he dies, he will get shuffled back into your deck so you can utilize his spell damage again. Since this is the last episode of Miniset Miracles, I figured it'd be fun to call back to the keywords and mechanics of the older episodes, so you guys were encouraged to also use older mechanics. Like with Bookworm by Iron Warrior 79, Polytechnic University Mascot by Shire, and Urgent Student and Inner Cold by May. Death Knight didn't exist in Scholomance and thus doesn't have any dual class combinations in the set. But that didn't stop you guys from making some dual class cards for Death Knight, like Soul Contract by GG and Necrotic Aura by May for Death Knight and Warlock, which interact with Soul Fragments like the cards from earlier. And also Possessed Warrior for Warrior and Death Knight, also by GG. There's also this dual class legendary, the Ascending Apprentice by Caveman.
No escape.
The Ascending Apprentice is an 8 mana 7/7 legendary beast for Druid and Shaman. And while you cast a nature spell while it's in your hand, it will remember it. Then when you play the Apprentice, it will cast all the spells it remembered. You guys really made a lot of dual class cards, like Artist's Gallery for Druid and Shaman by Merklin Wall, and Mask of the Wild for Hunter and Druid, and Underground Necromancer for Priest and Warlock by GG. One of you also submitted this very cool payoff to the spell burst mechanic, Mr. Bigglesworth by the Bober 2. This 8 mana 1/1 beast will recast every spell you cast this game that triggered one of your spell bursts. And Bigglesworth also has a spell burst effect of his own that will return Mr. Bigglesworth to your hand when triggered, so you can keep playing it with a stronger and stronger effect. Or how about this payoff for the spell burst mechanic, Kel'Thuzad Lord of Death by GG.
Through death, my power grows!
Kel'Thuzad is an 8 mana 6/8 undead with a spell burst that will deal 3 damage to the lowest health enemy. Then if the target dies, the spell burst won't get removed, but its damage will increase by 1. Several of you also submitted larger bundles of cards, like all these cards by Moondreamer. Or all these cards by Murasandi. Or how about these cards by Besather? There's also this card, Original Student by Amagoose. This 3 mana 3/3 rogue card has both a Battlecry and Spellburst effect that will discover a card from your opponent's deck and then give you an original card with the same text. The original card is basically just a copy of the card you discovered, with the colors of the artwork inverted, but the original card will still count as a different card for effects like Tess. Then there's this card by Driss Hero, Exemplary Student. This 3 mana 3/3 rogue minion will add all the study spell to your hand, but they would be temporary. But if you trigger her combo effect, they won't be temporary. If you forgot, the study spells were spells that discovered other cards, and keep in mind that several of you submitted new study spells, like this card by GG. You may also know this name. The last card was submitted by my fellow content creator BionicDoor, The Final Exam. This is a 7 mana Fel spell for Warlock that will deal 5 damage to all characters. Then if your own hero dies from this, you will be resurrected with full health. If you didn't know, BionicDoor has a YouTube channel of his own where he also makes custom Hearthstone cards. If you like the videos on my channel, you're definitely gonna like his too. There will be a link to his channel in the description below. Well, that's it for the cards you submitted. There were a few I left out for a time, but I believe I still managed to show cards from everyone who submitted one. Thank you so much to all of you who participated in this video. Man, I'm so sad that Miniset Miracles is ending, but maybe it doesn't have to end. Maybe this could just be the end of Miniset Miracles Season 1. That's right guys, if you guys would like to see more, I have plans for a second season of Miniset Miracles. In Season 2 we wouldn't go back to all the expansions that don't have a mini set. Instead, this could be an opportunity to make alternate versions of already existing mini sets. This would also include any episodes of Miniset Miracles Season 1 that didn't turn out too good. You know which ones I'm talking about. Okay guys, that's the end of this chapter of the channel. Next week we'll be entering a brand new chapter. You see, I've got something very exciting for you guys. A brand new custom expansion, and I've even made a cinematic trailer that will be released next Wednesday. Just be warned, I'll be singing in it. I really hope you guys will check it out, so subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on it. And give this video a like if you enjoyed it, it really helps. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next week in Return to the Rumble.